Hello, my name is Mariana, and together with my colleague Rūta, we've been working on the umbrella of the Lithuanian Agency of Construction Sector Development in order to provide a research-based input into directions of Lithuanian long-term plans in order to ensure sustainable and efficient plant rebuilding process, since the level of destroyed infrastructure is rising every day, and the amount counts in hundreds of thousands units of residential buildings, educational and healthcare facilities. The development of the project is reflected in the visualized timeline, where we started from the current situation analysis, as well as Lithuanian immediate response, rebuilding the critical infrastructure projects, as well as analyzing direction of other international projects, territorial and sectoral approach to the rebuilding. We also interviewed and consulted with the stakeholders and experts in the field that led us to developing and drafting proposal that we are presenting today. Going back to the analysis, we differentiated the key findings, among which the level of uncertainty due to the escalated continuous attacks, which prevents long-term planning, as well as the lack of the insurance scheme for both equipment and people that are going to Ukraine on Lithuanian and EU level. As well, there is a major legal framework in the rebuilding field. Among new things, there is a requirements to develop a strategic plan for the cities. Having that in mind, we raised the main question, namely, how can we start sharing knowledge on developing long-term plans before the end of the war in order to keep everyone safe and ensure that those inputs will be relevant by the end of the war. While researching on Lithuanian capacities, resources, and experience, we also were navigating Ukrainian recovery plan, specifically materials on construction, urban planning, modernization of the cities and regions, where one of the key principles is openness and transparency in order to provide access to the plans and rebuilding process to people and international projects. That is very much connected to the goal of the spatial planning and digitalizations, since there is a real problem with inefficient transparency and in urban planning. So focusing on going digital, we return to the very first raised question on how can we start sharing knowledge on developing long-term plans while keeping everyone safe, by referring to Lithuanian experience in using technology advanced planning tool in order to rebuild better back. And here's the most important is to focus on transferring the actual culture and experience rather than technical part per se. And at this point, I would like to give the floor to my colleague Rūta.
Thank you, Mariana. So I'll talk more about the digital planning tools themselves. So they're mainly the tool used by the planners, and they vary greatly, and they can be as simple as online maps or be cadastral databases online, or even 3D city models. And this wide range provides different capacities such as exploration, analysis, design visualization, planning, and of course, making information accessible online. How could digital planning tools be useful in rebuilding Ukraine? Well, they provide a platform to create and manage complex urban information, such as land zoning, cultural heritage preservation, designing transport simulation, or even such difficult measures such as solar energy evaluation. Containing all of this information in one space allows to speed the decision-making process, which is crucial at this point in Ukraine. Moving forward, we thought about where could a possible pilot project happen, and we came up with the territorial criteria. So first of all, we think it should be an urban territory under active rebuilding process. It should be a city or a part of a bigger city of around 50 to 100,000 residents. Of course, there needs to be a municipal interest in international projects and more so into digitalization. And with that, we need personal resources. So we thought that it could be 1 or 2 people at least that could be dedicated to the working group. As an optional criteria, we thought that proximity to technical universities in Ukraine could help to create sort of an expertise hub that could, over time, develop more needs in the universities for students and teachers as well. And with this, we identify a few cities. Mostly they're in the Kyiv region, where we have Borodanka, Bucha, and Irpin. But we also thought that Chernihiv could be a viable option. Then we researched digital planning tools in Lithuania. And as mentioned before, they do have a wide range of different information and usage of them. And we tried to simplify that into 4 categories. So we can either have 2D maps online, or we could have 3D models of complexes or the whole city even. And then we differentiated between existing objects or planned objects that take the main stage of that tool. So briefly, I can say that we have an example where we use the map of Lithuania in order to find what the territorial planning documents are assigned to a specific space. We also have a tool where we can see all the surrounding projects that are coming up in the next years. Then we have a museum model, which shows the whole complex and preserves the heritage inside. And then we have Vilnius model, which shows all the city buildings in 3D form, as well as all the planned buildings that will be coming up next. Moving forward, we talked with different developers, both in Ukraine and Lithuania. So the Lithuanian developers have worked with some of the projects mentioned before. And moving forward, we identified 3 main results of our projects. So first of all, we presented and have had handout material at the conference in Warsaw dedicated to rebuilding Ukrainian cities. We drafted an implementation plan containing the stages of developing digital planning tools for a selected Ukrainian city. And we delivered an overview of digitalization initiatives in Ukraine. Moving forward, we think that the best thing to do next would be to arrange a working group with Ukrainian municipalities. Then, of course, the local needs would need to be identified, which would allow to figure out which way to go with the digital planning tool itself, and then analyze the accessible planning information to be used in the model. Trumpai pristatysiu projektą lietuviškai, tai mūsų projekto tikslas buvo išsiaiškinti, kaip galime efektyvinti Ukrainos atstatymą ir dalintis Lietuvos žiniomis statybų ir miesto vystymo sektoriuose. Projekto eigoje identifikavimo poreikį Ukrainos urbanistinių procesų skaitmenizavimui bei viešinimui, kuris taip pat padėtų spręsti skaidrumo problemas statybų sektoriuje. Ir galiausiai parengėme planą tolesniam skaitmeninių planavimo įrankių įgyvendinimui Ukrainoje. We would like to thank you to all the people that dedicated their time talking to us, and we tried to list all the companies, agencies, and governmental bodies that were so kind to join us in this process, and of course without them we wouldn't have had our results. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please contact us in the emails below and scan the QR code to visit our project page. Thank you.